Daniel Craig shares that there is a third person interfering in his family life. Daniel Craig and Rachel Weisz first met at a charity dinner in London. Daniel had just been cast as James Bond, while Rachel was starring in an independent art film. He was drawn to her smile and her sophisticated eyes. She responded with the confidence and grace of an Oscar-winning actress. The evening ended with a lingering handshake, a look that suggested an instant spark. The early days of their relationship were sweet. They went to the opera, played chess in a deserted cafe, read books under the full moon by the Thames. Rachel read Yeats to Daniel. He joked about the world of spies, whispering promises of shared trips and roles beyond the screen. The faithful vow. In 2007, on a vacation in sunny Tuscany, Daniel proposed. He humbled himself, talking about the time he spent filming Bond, imagining a normal future, going to the market in the evening, going on a picnic on the weekend, waking up to see each other with grey hair. Rachel burst into tears not because of romance, but because she was moved by his simple and sincere vision. They got married on a small farm, surrounded by flower fields and close friends. No fanfare, no media, everything was so simple that no one who came would guess that this was a Hollywood wedding. Daniel exchanged rings, Rachel cried, and everyone felt that they were building a real home, a private life that did not belong to the spotlight. Then the storm. The first 2 years of marriage were peaceful days but were quickly extinguished by the Bond filming schedule and Rachel's personal projects. Daniel was often away for 6 to 8 months a year, traveling all over the world, from the Bahamas, Prague to Tokyo. Rachel began taking on a complex role, a single mother in an art film, starring in Europe. She became more distant, less communicative. He kept waiting for her late messages and calls from the set. He knew she still loved him, but their trust was becoming more fragile because of the long distances and silence. Their daughter, Sophia, was born in 2010, like a miracle that soothed everything. They welcomed her together in London. Rachel decided to take a few years off from acting to take care of her. Daniel also reduced his Bond role and auditioned for a small but profound role. The family welcomed baby Max in early 2012, filling the small house with children's laughter. But the happiness did not last long. When Rachel returned to filming in Europe at the end of 2012, the schedule arose again. Daniel was invited to do a big series, photo shoots, talk shows, advertising contracts. The free time between them became increasingly rare, and he wondered, are we in the same world? The third person appears. At the end of 2013, at an awards ceremony in Berlin, Daniel met Lena Marquez, a promising young Spanish director who had just won a short film award for his debut film. Elena flashed in Daniel's eyes as a creative, fiery soul, and as he always praised him for being a strong inspiration. They only had a few hours of brief conversation, but it was enough to move Daniel. He did not realize that those seemingly harmless feelings were gradually deepening, sinking from a spiritual void in their marriage. On Rachel's side, there was also a season of ambivalence. She heard that Daniel was intimate with Elena, although he had not yet made it public. Only rumors circulated in the industry. Rachel began to notice, he talked a lot about his new work, about Spanish lessons, late dinners. And he talked less about home, children, and shared wishes for the future. In early 2014, Elena finished filming and invited Daniel to shoot a small scene in an upcoming work in Barcelona. He left. Rachel stayed home with the kids, waiting, worried. Daniel video called, half joking, half serious. "I'm doing more non-Bond movies this year, more in Europe." Rachel wasn't happy. THR was more silent on the phone. They promised to meet up, but never did. The last straw. In the summer of 2014, Daniel premiered Elena's short film at the Venice Film Festival. He went along, dressed in a neat suit, smiling brightly. Rachel went to see it, but couldn't cheer like before. In the middle of the main theater, when the lights went out, Rachel saw Daniel and Elena with their arms around each other, laughing and talking comfortably in the flashbulbs. She felt like someone had stabbed her in the chest. Thn, at the opening dinner, Elena told Rachel directly, "I know, Rachel, and I love you." "Daniel is a wonderful man, but he's living with me, in a world I created." Rachel stood still, while Daniel tried to keep quiet. That evening ended unhappily, and Rachel wandered the Venice night, alone listening to the waves and the moonlight, TRS falling for a happiness she thought was already there from the beginning. Mood swings. Daniel returned to London, trying to mend things. He organized a cozy dinner, cooking Spanish food, the food Elena taught him. Rachel grimaced, unwilling. "This is the Daniel I love," he said. "She can't replace me." But the words sounded flat. Rahul realized that even as he said it, he meant it differently, spending the evening writing a script with Elena on video call. He didn't hide it, but he didn't use the word you when he spoke. Rachel felt shaken. They went to a therapist, trying to sort out the mess in their marriage. But Elena was like a shadow that always appeared between them. Daniel had confessed that she had gone too far, and he began to be attracted, not just for the creativity, but for the feeling of being alone, like when he first fell in love with Rachel. "You know, I love you," he said, "but you weren't there. I knew I missed out on so much, so when she appeared, I felt alive again." Rachel was devastated. She wanted Daniel to choose her or Elena. He was silent. The appointments with the specialist became tense, full of arguments, anger, and tears. The two began to live like strangers under the same roof, talking about the children, schedules, second-grade math, but not saying a word of love to each other. Decided to separate. They separated Tempora Riley. Daniel moved out, to a small apartment near Hyde Park, not too far from the old house to see the children. Rachel stayed with Sophia and Max, trying to keep life normal. Daniel still saw the children on weekends, took them out, told them romantic Bond stories. The children asked, "Will Mom and Dad get back together?" He pleaded, "Oh, I will always love Mom, but..." "I need to live properly, right?" Elena welcomed Daniel, but mainly as a soulmate. They read books together, watched art films, went to exhibitions. Daniel felt he at peace but sometimes missed Rachel and the two children terribly. He knew he had lost a lot: family, public opinion, image. Raquel, meanwhile, gnawed at the hurt, wondering if she had left too soon. But in the eye of the storm, she knew she had failed to save anything. The two children were the last thing keeping them from falling completely into the abyss. The truth is shared. Daniel unexpectedly shared in a morning interview on a BBC Talk show. "I'm going through a difficult period in my life. A third person has forced me, and us, to let go of everything. I'm not hiding anything. I'm taking responsibility and hoping things will settle down soon." "I'd hate to hurt anyone, especially Rachel and the two kids." The message caused a stir among the public, but most viewers understood Daniel's brave admission. Rachel reposted a short sentence on Instagram. "No one loves their children more than their parents. We will look forward together." The two tried to talk to keep it civil, showing their children that the more confused their parents were, the more they could talk. But underneath the surface, the pain was still bleeding. Reparations and healing. Daniel made an effort not for Elena but for himself and his child. He temporarily gave up Bond, limited his early projects, focused on an independent psychological film with a French director who loved art. In the summer of 2016, the film went to Cannes. Daniel won an award. He texted Rachel, "Watch this film. I found myself again." Rachel went to see it, silent until the end credits rolled. Daniel's name flashed. She stood up, clapped her hands. They drank red wine afterwards, talked for exactly 5 minutes. Rachel said, "You're back, but I'm not sure what's left between us." Daniel hugged her, saying nothing. They knew, the wound could not be healed immediately, but it could be closed, to start a new process, a different one without having to completely renew everything. The final decision. Rachel suggests they try living as friends again. Daniel agrees. They rent a quiet suburban house together, alternating between London and there. Their time together is warm, but short. When Danny goes to the studio, the Bond comeback, Rachel focuses on writing the script. The two jobs go hand in hand, not over each other like before. One day, on the banks of the Thames, Rachel asks, "Have you forgiven her?" Daniel says, "I don't need to forgive." "I respect my choice, because I chose that path, but I also chose to go back. She was good, but I don't think I'd love the same person 3 years ago." Rachel is quiet, her eyes glistening with tears. "I still love you," she whispers. But they both know, love isn't enough. It takes something deep, to accept the scars. They have children, memories, initial feelings. But it takes more than hope, and they've lost hope that love can be revived intact. RTA Divorce Court. Rachel files for divorce. Reason: no longer in love. Daniel does not object. They both see who's the option of dividing property and raising children. The two children live half with their father, half with their mother, sharing holidays equally. Daniel contributes financially, Rachel has full custody and education decisions. They do not mention Elena, the truth is too painful. Elena also blesses and remains silent, continuing her life after separation. Rachel writes a script, is a great success. Her first film premiered in Venice, then Warner Brothers. Buys the copyright back to Hollywood. Rachel becomes a talented screenwriter. Daniel returns to Bond with maturity, signs a long-term contract for 3 sequels. Both are busy, but maintain a respectful silence, no interviews with each other, no reproaches in the press. Both still attend their children's birthdays, Christmas, and Mid-Autumn festivals, fulfilling their responsibilities as parents. Daniel and Rachel don't see each other much, but they talk to each other to make plans. Life is slowly settling into a new routine, perhaps for the better. Finally, silence. Rachel and Daniel have both gone through a loss and rebuilding. Daniel sometimes wonders, was he wrong? No, but he's not entirely right. He knows one thing: Elena was just a person who pulled him out of depression, not his life's savior. Rachel realizes, she's stronger and more creative when she's alone, but she'll never stop hurting when she remembers her old family. They stay friends, quietly following each other on IG, sometimes liking pictures of their kids with their parents. There were times in their senior year, Daniel drove to Malibu, where Rachel was filming, to take the kids to the beach. She smiled faintly when she saw him coming, didn't pick them up, just left a kiss on their cheeks, then silently walked away. See you again. Sophia's daughter graduated from high school, preparing to fail UT of college. Rachel invited D. O'Neill and his family to an outdoor party in her small garden in Los Angeles. It was a quiet evening, yellow lights, a light breeze, jazz music. Daniel arrived late, wearing a gray suit and flared tie. Rachel stood in the corner of the yard, looking far away. When Daniel approached, she didn't smile, didn't say much, just held out her hand. Thank you for always being there for the kiddies. Daniel took her hand, his eyes sad. Thank you for giving them the best of us. They didn't kiss, they didn't hug, just a low okay that spoke volumes of a lifetime. He poured Rachel a glass of white wine. She took only a small sip. That evening, under the lights, they danced with their children. Sophia was happy. Max ran after his friend. Daniel and Rachel stood side by side, silent, but they knew, the two of them were the last connection, eternal, beyond all scars.